I wanted to talk to you about our research course, MSE 490. I want to talk about this because it's important that we offer a course for research that is uniform across all the different faculty who will be being research advisor. So let's start and talk about why we want to create a course for research. We want to do it because we want our undergrads to have an experience doing research in a world-class research lab. Sort of just like a graduate student, but understanding that undergrads may not know as much as the graduate students in the lab. All of our faculty and courtesy faculty are doing world-class research. It's quite an opportunity to get a chance to be in their lab, be part of their lab, contribute to the research in that lab, and maybe even write a paper, give a talk at a national conference. That would be the dream. But it's real research. It's not going to be busy work. It's not going to be cleaning glassware or just running a machine as a technician. If you find yourself in that situation, please come and talk to me as the advisor and we will correct it. But that's what this class is supposed to be about. It's supposed to give you a research experience. But what is this course not supposed to do? This is not a course to take to simply earn 1 or 2 extra science and tech elective credits so that you can graduate. That's abusing the purpose of this class. It's also not fair to the faculty member or the graduate students in the lab if the student wants to just get 1 or 2 credits and not really think about it. It's also not a course that you're going to easily earn an A. It's true most of our students do pretty well with it, but most of our students take it very seriously and work very, very hard in this class. This kind of class doesn't really fit in any of the designations for classes. It's not an experiential class. It's not a independent study class. It's not a traditional lab class, and it certainly isn't a lecture class or a studio class. It's research. And in order to give you the best possible research experience, we teach this like we teach our graduate students when they do research. It's an apprenticeship. You're going to get lots of contact hours with faculty members, mostly with the graduate students, just like a GSI, although they're not called GSIs in this setting. But you will be under the tutelage of more advanced students, postdocs, and ultimately the faculty advisor. So that's what this course is. That's what this course is not. And I hope you keep watching because I think doing research is one of the most exciting things in the world. So how is this set up in our curriculum? It's set up, first of all, you need to be eligible. So what does that mean? Well, you need to be an MSE student. It's possible that some other, if a faculty member wants a student from a different department to take this class, they'll have to come and talk to either Patty or myself so that we can make that happen. But most importantly, it is a junior level research course, which means you have to be doing research at the level of a junior in our program. Because if you had not have any research experience prior to that, we expect you're at least taking our first undergraduate lab course, MSE 360, because that would demonstrate that you're starting to get the skills to be able to do research. The other option is if you've done UROP or have done MSE 280, or not for MSE credit research course, and your research advisor sends us a note saying that yes, you are at the level of working in a research lab as a junior, then we will allow you to enroll in this class. So that's the first thing. The second thing is your research advisor must be either a core or a courtesy appointed MSE faculty member. You can find that on our website under people. You'll see core faculty and courtesy faculty. And The research must be materials research. It cannot be education research or any other kind of research. It must be materials research. And the reason for that is that this course can be used as either one of our MSE electives, 3 of those credits, or 3 credits, up to 3 credits of science and tech elective. So that's why it has to be materials research. You can elect to take between 1 and 3 credits in a term with the consent and agreement of your research advisor. You are allowed to use up to 6 credits of MSE 490 towards your degree. 3 of those credits can be used as one of the MSE elective courses, and then another 3 can be used for science and tech elective, or if you've already taken all of your MSE elective courses, we'll even allow you to use 6 credits, all 6 that you're allowed to use towards your degree, as science and tech electives. So those are sort of the rules. You should also realize that MSE 490 is not eligible for double counting in a SUGS program. That's our simultaneous undergraduate graduate studies program. And the reason is that 490 is undergraduate research, not graduate. So even though it carries a number of starting with a 4, it does not count as graduate credit. So that's something you need to consider if you're trying to do a SUGS. You'll want to take other courses for your science and tech elective. Not to say that this isn't still great, and you can still use these credits as general electives. That's fine, but only 6 of MSE 490. So what should you expect to get out of taking an MSE 490 course? Well, first of all, you'll discover if you either love research or you hate research. It's not for everybody. Research takes a large amount of time. That's why they call it research, because you often end up having to do things over and over and over as you fine-tune your methods and techniques and start to learn about your instruments. So it can be really frustrating sometimes. And you'll really need to learn how to embrace failure, because one of the most amazing things about research and one of the most frustrating things about research is that sometimes what you think you're going to get isn't at all what you actually observe. And you might feel that that's terrible and that's failure. But honestly, that's the best time in research. By embracing failure, that means by seeing results you didn't expect to get, you might be able to create new science to explain what you see, because you may have been the first person to see that something didn't work. And that's great. So if that's something you enjoy doing, being creative and coming up with new models, being innovative in trying to fine-tune and work out all the details of your data so that you actually believe it. If you love doing all that stuff, you'll probably like doing research, but you really won't know until you actually try to do it. So if you love research, then by working hard and independently and creatively, you might be able to earn the respect of your research advisor. That would be fantastic, because one of the best outcomes of doing research at the undergraduate level is there is the possibility that you could get an excellent letter of recommendation from your research advisor. This is extremely valuable if you want to get into a PhD program and you want to get into the top ones. I mean, you can try to get a 4.0 GPA and think you're done, but the truth is at the top 5 research programs, they get everybody as a 4.0. And so what distinguishes one person from the other? What distinguishes them is if they have amazing letters of recommendation saying things like, this student is working at the level of a 3rd-year graduate student and they're only a junior. They are incredibly independent. Every time I work with that student, I learn something as a faculty member. They are easy to get along with. Everyone in the lab likes them, and they have great ideas. This person is perfect for doing PhD research. That's the kind of letter you want to get. Now, getting that kind of letter means you have to work really hard to impress your research advisor, because guess what? You're not going to get that unless you really are working at the level of a third-year graduate student. But I can tell you from my own experience with undergrads in the lab and talking to lots of my colleagues, this often happens. Often our undergrads are just as good as our graduate student. It's just the time constant's a little bit longer. So it can be an incredibly awesome experience if indeed you love research. So how do you know if you're going to like research or not? My recommendation is to talk to somebody and sign up for just 1 credit early. Even do a 1 credit 280, which will not count towards 490 credit, but it will count towards your free electives. And just go to your group meetings, learn the basic safety trainings you have to do, start reading the papers of the group, listen to what's going on, and that alone should give you some insight into whether you want to continue with this process. So let's talk about the time. Again, this is not a standard course. Well, of course, we don't expect you to spend more than the maximum of any course, which is 4 hours per week per credit hour. That's sort of a maximum, but you're expected to spend probably, this will vary from research group to research group, but you should expect to spend 2 to 3 hours per week for every credit hour actually in the lab. You'll also be expected to attend the weekly group meeting and do whatever reading is necessary, but that will be on top of the 2 to 3 hours, of course, never exceeding 4 hours a week. And that's on average for the average student across the whole term. So some weeks will be busier than others. And the important thing is make sure when you first talk to your research advisor, hopefully they'll discuss their expectations for you. But if they don't, you should ask them that question, because communication is really important. And the more transparency you have with your research advisor and the graduate students and postdocs that they have you work with, the better everything's going to be. It's just good practice. So what do you need to do to actually take MSE 490? Well, first you have to find a research advisor who has the capacity in the lab to give you a research opportunity. You need to realize that a faculty member does not have limitless availability. Usually a faculty member will assign a graduate student to take care of an undergraduate, and probably not one of their first-year graduate students. So that might mean a given lab can have between 1 opportunity up to 10 opportunities, depending on the size of the lab. The other thing is they might already have a lot of students, and they just might have to say no. It's not that they're being mean to you. It's just they might just not have the space. That said, so far, every student who has wanted to have a research experience in our program has easily been able to find one. You just might need to ask 2 to 4 faculty members before you find someone who has some availability. And you do this you figure out which faculty member by going to our website. Go to the faculty, go to the people, look at the faculty websites to learn about their research, or you can watch some of the videos that have been made describing what they do. I'm starting to make videos I've done our assistant, and I'm finishing our associate faculty, core faculty, and I'm going to start making videos very, very soon for the full faculty members. So those are videos specifically focused on helping an undergrad understand what each research lab is about, gives you a chance to see what the environment looks like, listen to a few of the students, so you can make an informed choice about who you want to get in touch with. But even if you don't have the video, there might be some videos that the college has made that talks about the research that they've done for some high-profile papers. Or just go to their website, or better yet, send someone an email. Look at what they're doing. Decide which area of material science you'd like to learn more about, and send 2 to 4 faculty members an email introducing yourself, telling them why you might be interested in their lab, and ask if there's any chance that you could sit down and meet with them, either in person or on a Zoom meeting. That's the first step, is you can't take MSE 490 without a faculty member agreeing to do it. Once that happens and you've found an advisor who's willing to take you, then there's a form on our website for MSE 490. It's in the same part of the website that you're watching this video on right now. You'll have to fill out that form and use the number of credit hours that you and the advisor have agreed on. If you're doing just one credit, great idea. If you just want to see if research is for you, you do not need to write a proposal. You just need to put in one credit, the name of the faculty member, and get that faculty member to sign the form. You have to sign the form, and then you send it to Patty and to me for approval. If you're signing up for 2 or 3 credits, then you must write the short proposal as is described on the form. Once that proposal is done, you need to review it with your research advisor, and the research advisor then needs to sign the form, which then means that they've read that research proposal and the number of credits, 2 or 3 credits. You can't take more than 3 credits in a given term. And then when they sign it, they're approving both of those things. Again, scan that form, send me the PDF, whatever, to Patty and me, and we'll approve it. Once the form is approved by the program advisors, that's Patty and me, I'm not the research advisor, that'll be one of our faculty. Once that happens, Patty will reach out and give you a permission to enroll in the correct section of the course for that faculty member. That is the process. You need to do this before the drop-dead deadline of a form. So let me just do a recap. What's the timeline for taking MSE 490? Number 1, find a research advisor, usually the term before you want to start. 2, fill out the form and write the proposal of taking 2 or 3 credits, and discuss it with your research advisor and make sure they're on board, and sign that form. Send the signed form. The third thing, send the signed form signed by the student and the research advisor, and send that to Patty and to me. Once you get permission for Patty, you'll be able to enroll in MSE 490 for the next term. Or if you're doing this at the last minute, like a lot of us do, you can do this up till the end of the add drop deadline, which is usually 3 weeks after the term starts. Remember, it's your responsibility to know when these deadlines are. They're all written down on the registrar's website, so it's your responsibility to do that. So anyway, that's what doing research, how research can be done for a credit, and it's a wonderful thing, and I really urge you to do it. I should also mention that you can, if you're doing research for credit, you're not allowed to get paid to do research. A lot of faculty will offer you pay for doing research, and that's a fine thing to do too, but make sure you're not doing it in the same term. In the summer times, they might offer you a job doing research with them once you come up to speed. Once you finish all of your 6 credits, you might be able to continue to do work doing research by doing it for pay. Wonderful idea. Remember, if you love research and it turns out that a PhD is in your future, this is a great way to prepare for that and to get the best possible positioning to get into the best possible school. Obviously, one of the goals is to get a published paper in an archival journal. Many of our students have done this and even been first author. It's a wonderful thing and it looks great on your resume. I should also mention there's one other thing about the form. The form discusses the kinds of deliverables that have to be done when you take MSE 490. So what you need to do is, if you're doing it for just 1 credit, you must write a short paper that describes what you did and what you might plan to do. It can actually be the draft of the proposal that you might use for the next 2 or 3 credits. In all cases, you must write a paper, and the paper must be commensurate with a term paper for a course that you either have 1 credit or 2 credits or 3 credits. So a 1 credit paper might be like 2 or 3 pages. A 2-credit paper might be like 3 to 6 pages. And a 3-credit paper should be at least 10 pages long. Now, we do give one other option if a student really excels. Some students, like I said, are able to write papers for archival journals. And if they are writing a draft of a paper, we're not going to make you write a report. Put in that draft or the final submission, and as long as your advisor says that's okay, you can submit that in lieu of your report. Other students get to go to national conferences like TMS or MRS and present their work. If you do that and your advisor agrees, you can use the PowerPoint deck for your talk as the submission. Or if you gave a poster at one of those national meetings, if your advisor agrees, you can submit that poster as the submission. We will not accept posters or talks at student conferences here at U of M or just things on the wall. It's got to be something special. So anyway, that's what our MSE 490 program is all about, and I hope you all take advantage of it. And if you have any questions, don't hesitate to stop by and talk to me, because I'm more than happy to talk about it. All right, thank you very much. Bye.